Hey guys, this is our railgun or gravity cannon depending on what you want to call it. My friend and I decided to make this just to see if we could make it better, improve things, or just try different things that we haven't seen other people do. It's probably been done, I haven't seen it personally, so we wanted to see what we could accomplish in the ways of a railgun, and this is what we came up with. So most people that we've seen have made railguns out of like ships, whether it's thrusters or rotors making a piston to launch out a torpedo or something, or just launch rocks. So we wanted to actually make something that could do damage, whether you want to launch a torpedo into another sector to attack someone else's base, or attack a really large slow ship that just happens to be sitting near this near your asteroid or your base or something. So contrary to most people, we went with a mounted turret design instead of an actual ship. So as you can see, this is actually a three-piece railgun. There's three main pieces and the two smaller pieces in the center, which I'll get to in a bit. But the main first piece is the feet, which latch on to whatever. This can be moved if you were to get like a transport ship, or it would be hard as hell, especially considering this is made out of all heavy armor. But it can be moved, it can be detached. That's what that terminal is for. That's part number one, or section number one. Section number two comes down. It's kind of a U-bend, which holds the receiver in the barrel. Comes down, across, and then back up. There is a rotor in the center, which connects to the feet, or the latching section, which allows the gun to rotate your x-axis. And then we have the third part, or the main receiver and the barrel, which is connected to part number two through a rotor, which allows it a y-axis up and down. All this is controlled by a terminal in the corner right there, gyroscopes, up and down thrusters, and side to side thrusters. You have your reactors, then you have your loading module, which I will talk about in a moment. If you jump into the terminal, you can see you have, if I turn on my HUD, you can see it goes up very slowly. This thing has a 2.8 million kilogram mass. We did not think of this when we started making it out of heavy armor, but it's not terrible because it makes it easier to aim, just not quicker, which if it was any faster I think you'd be able to tear it apart anyway. Little shaky, but it does go 360 degrees. And it almost has a 180 degree firing arc, or at least a 90 degree. It doesn't go too far down, but it has a 90 degree up almost, which I'll show you right now. Takes a bit to get it up there, but once you do, you'll be able to see. And if I can get my screen a little bit farther. A little shaky, but it works and it holds together with minimal damage. It's all heavy armor. Rotors don't break easily at all, so you can actually get quite a nice arc on the cannon. As you can see, if there's a station up there, anywhere over there, you can rotate it any which way. It goes down quite far until you hit that. There's a block missing there. I don't know why. But yeah. It goes very high up, very far down, and it rotates 360 degrees. And one interesting fact is once it actually is pointing that far up, you have to use Q and E to turn it with the thrusters. You can't use your mouse anymore, otherwise it'll actually just rip itself apart. So just keep that in mind if you choose to make this yourself. So I'll just leave it up for now. It takes too long to bring down. But this is the receiver. These are just large ship landing gears. Each side has a terminal. These are attached to a rotor, which has the degrees set to where they meet perfectly in the center. This is much easier for loading, one, our ammo type, which is over there, which I'll show you, and two, positioning it in the very center. Because when we have the gun at a horizontal state, we actually use the station's gravity. You could also put a gravity generator on one of the other sections. But we'll use the station's gravity to actually settle the object into the feet, so it's perfectly aligned in the center of the barrel, which you'll get to see later when we actually fire it. My friend over there is currently AFK, so I cannot fire it and I have to wait to get that clip. But anyway, that's how it mostly works. Both these feet can rotate out all the way, which is why this is not covered up. So you could fit, in theory, a shell the entire size of the barrel inside. So these feet will rotate out. And that's also how you lock the ammo types, whatever you choose to use in. So yeah. So I got the gun aligned back down just to show you how the feet will rotate out. One thing to keep in mind, you always want to keep the gun's power off when you're 1, loading, and 2, when you're not using your jetpack, because either of the two, if you're loading, the rock will get sucked out and thrown, and 2, if you're not wearing your if your jetpack is not active, you will get sucked out. And this actually has quite a large radius. Currently, we'll pull 105 Gs in the way the barrel is facing, so anything in a large diameter or radius around will get sucked out. So we normally keep it off. So what we'll do is we'll go into the rotors. As you can see, all the gravity generators. I'm not sure how many we have. I suppose I could count. Looks like we have 106. That would make sense for 106 Gs. Anyway, rotor left, rotor right. Let's set that to negative, and then we'll set this to positive. And then when we turn this back on, the feet will rotate out and they will fold. I have it set to a limited amount of rotation. You can have it set to rotate all the way around, but currently it's just set to that. So I will just go ahead and rotate these back for proof of concept. That goes, and that goes, and the feet rotate back, and they meet perfectly. That's because the degrees are set at a 45-degree angle, and whatever object is there will fall directly in the center of the barrel. So next up, I will load it and show you guys how it's fired. Okay, so I've put a shell in the receiver. I have added a 1,000 kg rock, 1,000 kilogram rock to it, and I have let it settle using the station gravity to fit, and so basically it fits perfectly within the receiver, or the two landing pads that are angled at 45 degrees. This, if it's floating a little bit above, and you turn off the gun's gravity so it doesn't launch out, of course, and you release the pad's grip, the station gravity will actually pull it down and it will set almost perfectly. I think this is pretty perfect. Yep, it's quite good. In the receivers, and then you lock it again, and then you will come down here, turn off the station gravity. Easiest way, just turn off the power, or you can go into the generators and turn it off. You could also put a gravity generator on one of the sections to use it as, instead you could just throw a reactor and throw a gravity generator right there or something, but I digress. So that's set up, everything's set up. You have the ammo type. Let me just go over that real quick. The theory that we're using for this is if the rock is centered up, down, or X and Y axis, if it's directly in the center of the ship, it will be pulling out because the railgun or the gravity generators only affect rocks. They don't actually affect ships, so anything you build will not be affected by the gravity generators. So in theory that we're using, and it's proved true on multiple occasions, whether or not it's going to work every time, we don't know. It hasn't, but it works most of the time, is that the rock will be pulling the ship, or pulling the extra mass on the back of the ship. So as the gravity generators pull the rock is then in turn pulling the ship, or the mass in the back of the shell, out of the receiver, and it will keep it on a reasonably straight flight path, and so it doesn't spin and what have you. We were using other shells to begin with when we first started. They were just these yellow boxes with some landing gears. We dropped the rock in, we'd put them in, and they'd spiral out of control. Occasionally they'd hit the barrel, and we said, how could we fix this? This is the design that we came up with, Toph and I. And this is a higher mass one. It can fit a larger rock than the previous one. This is the one that's in there right now. It has mass in the back, reasonably light up front, and this one has more mass, and it goes 2 down, 2 across instead of 2 across, 1 down. So that's the type of ammunition. We call them javelins. You can call them whatever you want. But that's the logic behind what we're doing with our ammunition that we fire out of this. So if I go and I jump in here, we'll go ahead and power on, turn it a little bit because the crosshairs are not lined up perfectly because the terminal is on the side of the ship. So that should be good right there. We'll go ahead and turn the power off, jump out. This can be done in any order. I'm just going to do it in this order for now. We're going to jump in here, detach, jump out. Now the shell is free to fire. We'll jump back in the terminal. This is normally done with 2 people or more. I'm just doing it by myself, so it seems a little bit more complicated. And then we will turn on the power. And let's get an angle. And 3, 2, 1, power on. And the shell, it flies reasonably straight until it gets out. The higher, or the bigger the rock you put in, the more it'll pull, and the straighter it'll fly. That was just a 1 kg rock for a 12 kg javelin. But, as you can see, it impacted a little to the side. The rock tore out, but otherwise it's reasonably intact, but the damage is done. As you can see, rocks do not actually impact anything as of this patch. They kind of just no-clip through. Otherwise we would just shoot strictly rocks. But this is the ship, this is the damage. The hole is a decent size. I mean, that's 6, maybe 5. Yeah, about 5. And then, wait, let's see. Let's fly over here. We see green. So it went to green. This is all light armor, but you can see it went from black all the way to green. So it got 6 blocks of penetration. Well, 5 blocks of penetration and damaged the 6th. So that's actually not too bad for the low mass shell. Oh. So the low mass shell has about, I think, 11,000 or 12,000 total mass, and the heavy shell has, I think, around 20 to 22,000 mass. And if I recall, the heavy shell impacted reasonably about the same as that one did, and it went 7 blocks deep. So it has a little bit extra. If any of you are wondering why we don't put warheads, one, small ship warheads do, for the most part, absolutely nothing. And 2, we found the explosion of the warhead, if we put them on the tip, will actually force the rest of the ship back, so you don't get the kinetic damage, you just get the explosive damage. And this whole setup is really about kinetic damage. So yeah, that is our railgun. We will probably be making improvements on it eventually, but this is the system that we've developed too far. It's a turret, so it's fully aimable. You can aim it, direct it, and it's pretty accurate. If you fire it, it's not going to go off target, especially with the receiver that we have set up, which aligns it in the center of the barrel. So yeah, any questions, feel free to comment. If you'd like to see anything else built or my thoughts on anything, feel free to comment. And yeah, if you liked the video, let me know if you'd like me to make another one, because most of my videos are actually very few and far between, as the few of you who subscribe to me now. So, hope you enjoyed. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good day.